It's wild how much the randomizer messes up the way this game works.
Yeah.
Because you can turn it off and jump back into like whatever save it thinks it has going,
Mm-hmm.
and the adventure fields, and it's a mess. Wait, what am I doing?
Collect 100
100
rings.
rings.
Yeah.
This is not an easy one to do it on. This is Tails' version of the level.
Do you remember that time I left my GameCube on for 9 days trying to unlock games in the Sonic Gems collection?
Didn't it mess up your TV or something?
No, it messed up my controller. My TV messed
Oh,
up because of a storm.
oh, that's right. It had that little green thing going on down in the.
Yeah, yeah. But that was from the storm, not leaving my GameCube on for 9 days. Although I'm
I
sure
do.
that would have helped. Well, I did turn the TV off. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, the GameCube's a sturdy console. This is another thing I like to like really. These parts of Skydeck, like all of this like stuff they have modeled in here,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it's not anything you can get to or doesn't. But like that's a captain's chair in there,
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
and you know it's a whole Star Trek layout like in these different rooms that are entirely unoccupied. I mean, there's just a lot of detail, especially in this game. There is an Adventure 2 as well, but there's oh shit, they really put Knuckles up there. There's just a lot of environmental detail going on that you'd love to talk to the people that did it and say like how did we get here? What
Right.
made you do this?
Right.
And it's also very cool to be able to whip around this level as Knuckles,
It
just
is really
because
cool.
it's generally a little bit more challenging to navigate as Sonic.
Right.
And Knuckles can climb on any of these surfaces because that's just how they program the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. I was just they put me inside a wall there, I guess.
Oh, I see that. That's weird. So I've been listening to you remember that podcast I told you about where they talked about the BanjoKazooie Iceberg?
Yes.
And then I texted you later.
Whoa.
Whoa, cool.
Can he get up to speed? Like, can I do the lightning bolt thing?
But then I text you later, about how serious
Just
these guys were about like the Donkey Kong universe, as they
Oh yeah.
called it, and how like Diddy Kong Racing was, tied to Star Fox Adventure and all this stuff.
Right.
And I was listening to another episode of their podcast recently where they talked about Saberwolf. Do you know what Saberwolf is?
No.
So Saberwolf was a game by Rare back in like the 80s for like the home computers. I don't know if it was the ZX Spectrum or some other computer,
Sure.
but one of those microcomputer types.
Oh.
And I think it was like some sort of oh, sorry, I just saw you fall off the platform trying to get the chow.
I'm gonna make it though.
It was like I think it was just sort of like an isometric puzzle-y kind of adventure game. But anyways, in Banjo-Tooie, you can meet Saberman, and he's sort of like a portly, like jungle explorer kind of, Jane's dad from Disney's Tarzan, kind of that type of guy.
Okay, sure.
And you meet him in that game, and he is like, "Oh, I don't remember what he asks you, but he's like, "Oh, I had a dream that I was riding a dolphin," which is, one of those good references to the GameCube. So, he was supposed to have this game on the GameCube, but, obviously Rare was bought by Microsoft. and they did release a Saberwolf game, but it was on the GBA.
Okay.
And this whole episode was not about like what that game is like, but it was about whether or not this game exists in the DKU, as they call it, the Donkey Kong universe.
I'm fascinated by that.
And I thought their reasoning for, because originally they said that the guy who started the DK Vine website said that, you know, when it came out, he really liked it, and he felt that like it was like supposed to be a part of the DKU, but for various reasons he decided that it was not. And I'll tell you his reasoning in a second. But you know what? I'll just say it now, and I'll loop back to what I was going to say. But his reasoning was that Saberman already existed. He was a character before Donkey Kong in the 80s. And even though Saberman was in BanjoKazooie, that wasn't good enough. He still already existed before, so he would count that as like a cameo.
Right.
You know, or something like that. So, but then the reason that he decided that, you know, maybe this actually is, you know, DKU is that the original Saberman does not look anything like this Saberman. And so he considers like the BanjoKazooie Saberman that was then used in the Saberwolf GBA game to be like, you know, he was reintroduced into the DKU for the specific purpose of having this new game and blah blah blah. So eventually they landed on yes, Saberman is DKU, and they made it a rule where they were like, if a character is like reintroduced and like sort of reimagined in a series, you know, in the Donkey Kong universe, even if they're an old character, that version of them can now be a part. If it persists across multiple games, that version of them is a part of the DKU.
Okay. Interesting.
It was an interesting conversation they had, and that's why they decided like, oh, Star Fox Adventure is DKU, but those designs did not persist into any other game. So, you know, Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Zero, those are not DKU.
Interesting. That's so funny. Do they, so like, because I have always considered the Donkey Kong Country and onward at least to be pretty specifically like DKIO, like it's not anywhere close to the Mushroom Kingdom, but it's happening in Mario World. You know, I've always considered the Kremling War they talk about in some of the Donkey Kong Country manuals. That you know when you're on Donkey Kong, especially like in Returns and Tropical Freeze, you're finding crash planes and old battle tanks. I always consider the Kremling War to sort of be the Vietnam of the Mario universe.
Okay.
I don't think there's any strong basis to that other than that it's interesting to me. What I do want to show you, by the way, we're in Amy's Twinkle Park as Big, which is she's kind of locked into a very small part of Sonic's and then goes into where he can't normally go to go through the Hall of Mirrors. But I have the anti-gravity thing on, so I can whip us up out of the bounds of Amy's level if I can get past these invisible walls, which I've never tried to do before. And I can, so there's like the bowling alley that Sonic normally goes through. All the water is still here. Obviously no enemies. I'm really fascinated by how Sonic Adventure is built.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's like this guy over here. Here's a leftover enemy from Sonic's level that I would never be able to get as Big, but a developer left him behind.
Do you think they left him there because he was a monkey and there were monkeys in the part of the level you're supposed to be in? So they just left in all the monkey? robot?
No, because there's normally more monkeys here when you're Sonic.
Okay.
It's just like one they didn't nab, I guess.
Huh. Interesting.
Big's life belt also does not work in this water.
I see that. That's weird.
He still moves like he's in water, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. This, I don't. What is this about? Oh shit! Okay, it just launched me out of. It launched me
Whoa.
past the Hall of Mirrors. Normally, you do the Hall of Mirrors and then you come out this door.
Mm-hmm.
But the game has to load the entire other level.
Right.
That rocket just launched me past Act 2
Mm-hmm.
to Act 3, but Act 1 and Act 3 are the same map, I guess.
Right.
That's interesting. There's... Oh, there we go. So I'm just going to kind of float us along. Again, like... Oh, the lifebelt... Okay, maybe it just needs to be deep enough.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
But it's just amazing that all the geometry is here. Because Sonic's level stops up here.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Oh, there we go. Sonic's level ends in this room.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing up here at all.
Right.
For Big to have.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not supposed to. I mean, he can't clear any of these hills on his own normally anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, there we go. So normally the game wants you to try and attempt to hide from Zero in a barrel if you're aiming, but obviously that's not going to happen. Right. I love these guys, the big sort of rubbery guys that shrink guys. Or whatever. Yeah. There we go. We're just going to cook. Oh, I love how frequently he will spawn too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
got him.
So I have another question regarding not the DKU specifically, but another thing they brought up. They were talking about how they've had the chance to talk to developers in the past, and they've also looked at interviews and stuff, and they've seen that like the game designers across like BanjoKazooie and Conker and Donkey Kong Country, whatever, they say that those games do not exist in the same universe. But
like all the different Rare games.
Yes, but the guys at DK Vine are like, okay, that is a fine opinion, but you are wrong, and I thought that was interesting because obviously I'm familiar with the concept of the author being dead, and
right,
but I would say that if we were talking about a book. And you said that, The Lord of the Rings takes place in the same universe as Sonic, I would be like, okay, well, what's the evidence of that?
Wait, what do you have to argue that? Yeah.
And I know what their argument is. It's that Diddy Kong Racing exists.
As a crossover event.
Yes, it's like they refer to it as like a cornerstone almost of the whole thing, and that's so interesting to me because if you told me that Mario Kart 8 is proof that Zelda and Mario happen in the same universe, I would say, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
That's just a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not to throw shade at them because Diddy Kong Racing does have this big world that you can explore. It's got a story. And it was meant as like a way to introduce these characters before they had their own games. But
we were supposed to get a Timber the Tiger game, dude.
Yeah. But
you got robbed.
But I just find that so interesting